Batman, The Dark Knight #3, written by Paul Jenkins and David Finch, art by David Finch. We last left off with Batman coming onto a train that was hijacked by the White Rabbit and a super buff Joker. This issue picks up with the fight starting, and Batman is getting his ass severely handed to him. Joker's constantly just making little quips, stupid little jokes and puns and whatnot. Batman is like, you're not supposed to be here. This is a B-tier book. You're not supposed to be in this one. And Joker's like, well, I'm going to show up and I'm going to kill you anyway. And as he's throwing around Batman comments how, oh, well, too bad it doesn't work on your acting skills, this buff serum, because Joker is predominantly left-handed. And it's revealed that as the blood starts coming out of his eyes, that it is actually Clayface pretending to be Joker for some reason. And so Batman grabs onto Clayface, really lays in some insults into how bad of an actor he is, and then they both collapse onto each other. White Rabbit's there, and she's like, oh, very good job, Batman. I like you. And you look like you got a bit roughed up there in that fight. How about I give you a little bit of super juice that these guys have all had in order to get you back up to speed? And as she's about to do this, she notices that somebody is running by the train outside. So she says how she has to go, and that Batman has to chase her, as Flash busts into the train and says, hey, Batman, heard your call about the Joker train, got here as fast as I could. And Batman's like, what kept you, man? You're the Flash. And he's like, space aliens, buildings on fire, the usual. Batman asks if Flash saw the White Rabbit, and he's like, no, there's no girl here. You might be seeing things. Anyway, I think I hurt my thumb coming in. I only mention that because it actually somehow comes up later. So the police managed to get the train into the station, I guess several hours later. And Lieutenant Forbes is there, because of course he is. And the cops are like, look, the only men on board were some goons. And apparently, we got IDs on them. They were all Clayface's men, so there is no Joker involvement here at all. Also, Batman, not on board. There's just this giant hole in the side of the train that looks like something bust in at like super speed. And Forbes is like, God damn it, Batman! He's a menace. He's a criminal. I want Spider-Man. So as he's walking back to his car, he's on the phone trying to figure out how Batman could have gotten the drop on them, as Batman literally drops Clayface from a rooftop onto Forbes' car. And Forbes is like, come on, Batman, I know it's you. And he's like, wow, you're a great detective, huh? And he's like, I will open fire on you on the count of 3. 1. And Batman shows up behind Forbes, and he's like, now, shut up and listen. Stop coming after the people that you think are close to me. There is no one close to me. And Forbes is like, oh, you're upset I went after Bruce Wayne, right? Because he's your slush fund? And he's like, no, Bruce Wayne means nothing to me. I'm Batman regardless of him. Stay out of this. And he goes away. And then we cut to a dinner between, I'm forgetting her name already, Jai? Sure, the rich girl from issue 1 and I think 2. And Bruce and her are just flirting. They're just shooting the shit. And they're both trying to figure out something about the other one. Obviously, Bruce is trying to figure out if she is the White Rabbit because he has his suspicions, as is, obvious. It's a little bit less clear what Jai's going after. But when he brings up, like, hey, you're clearly trying to ask something. And she's like, oh, I'm just, trying to get to know you, trying to get that. And she says a line that echoes exactly what she said, what the White Rabbit said earlier in the issue. But as he is like putting 2 and 2 together, Alfred sends a text to Bruce saying how the White Rabbit was spotted just 4 minutes ago. So it cannot possibly be Jai. There's no possible way that it could ever be. Anyway, so in the Batcave, Bruce is still analyzing this toxin, which I swear to God we already dealt with last issue, but we just get a rehash of it again. It's like Scarecrow's fear toxin, but instead it takes away their fight or flight response and makes you fearless instead of fearful. Additionally, there's a tiny little thing, the thing that like makes a difference is that there's a poison inside it that comes from a super duper rare plant. So Batman deduces it's definitely Poison Ivy's involvement. And Alfred's like, isn't Poison Ivy a good guy right now? And Batman's like, I mean, I guess. She works with birds of prey who are kind of not good guys, I guess. But so Batman goes off and he's planning on confronting Ivy, but he's not going in without backup. So we see that they reach Ivy's lair, and by they I mean Batman and Flash. And they're climbing around the jungle, and Batman's like, Flash, I need you to be really, really careful here, okay? And Flash is like, no problem. I stabbed my thumb on this thorn. And it brings back up the jamming the thumb thing earlier. I didn't say come back in a good way, but Batman's like, okay, Flash, no time to talk. You just need to listen. Start running. And Flash is like, what do you mean? So she poisoned the thorn. It's in your system. It will do the exact same thing to you, but if you run, it's not going to metabolize. And Flash is like, okay, and he just runs away. That's your Flash cameo, everybody. So then Batman walks into Ivy's lair, and he's like, Ivy, this ends now. And as he arrives in, no Ivy at all. No one's there. It's totally empty. You're expecting a buff person for the third issue in a row? Nope, just totally empty. This was okay. It was fine. It didn't feel like a whole lot happened, despite the fact that it did. And also just, I gotta take away points because of that Clayface Joker thing. Especially because they don't say why Clayface was even doing it. Like, I get it's Clayface's whole thing to turn into other people, but like, why the Joker? I don't. And also, was he even given the serum? I think he was, because it looks like there's blood coming out from his eyes, but he's Clayface. He could make himself roided out Joker without the serum. I don't get it. The rest of the issue is just whatever. Flash felt completely tacked on. I guess more so to get him out of that first scene, but then they were like, well, Flash is still in Gotham, so maybe let's have him in the second scene. And then they're like, all right, but we really can't have him going into next issue, so write him out. Overall, it just felt like a pretty average issue. Just rehashing some previous stuff. The only thing that feels of any consequence is the confrontation with Forbes and the supposed confirmation that Jai is not the White Rabbit, which I'm just going to straight up say that's untrue. She most certainly is. There's no way she's not. So I'm going to give this one a 6.5. The art's perfectly fine as well. I have no problems with that, but it does feel kind of stock standard. It doesn't do anything super incredible with it. The most fun they have with it is the Clayface transformations, and even then, that's only like a page and a half. So, yeah, 6.5 out of 10 for Batman The Dark Knight number 3.